Oh. Suzanne? Suzanne?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. All righty. Now I'm going to make a little switch here. When I say that, I mean there were.
Suzanne?
Can you hear me now? Okay, good.
Suzanne?
Can you hear me now? Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me now? Oh,
yep.
Dear. Okay, good. All righty. Now I'm going to make a little switch here.
Suzanne, are you watching the YouTube video by any chance? Hello?
And there were.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Sorry, let me close my office door.
No, you're good. Do you know if Roberto's going to be on the call?
So, Roberto, I still don't think he was able to figure out how Google Hangouts works.
Right.
So he'll be in the office, but he had a meeting that ended at 11 as well.
Okay.
He may take just a little longer.
Sure, that's okay. Now, Suzanne was on, but she dropped off. She was on, though. So I'm going to re-invite her and see if that will help things. How you doing?
Oh, good. It's just crazy. It's getting crazier because of the holidays, so.
Yeah. Is it crazy as in there's more stuff to do in City Hall, or is it crazy because now there's also a ton of things you have to do, I assume, in your personal life as well that mixes with your professional life? Is that more, or probably both?
Yes, to both. Yeah. Since I'm one of the PR people, we're of course trying to promote all of these events, so it's pretty intense right now, and everyone wants all this fun stuff done.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I feel like we have the same issue in New Haven as well, which it's both awesome because you're thinking, wow, so there's so many things that people want to do at the same time that requires X, Y, number of effort. But at least, I guess in some ways it's a benefit that says at least people want to do things.
Yeah, it's but slow down maybe just a little.
Yeah, choose 3 things. Yeah, that's excellent. And so it feels like you have a million roles because you were. I know you do also IT stuff, but then you also do PR stuff.
Well, I'm mostly web content. I do web content and social media. That's
okay.
But so that's why Roberto, he feels a little more comfortable with me doing this sort of thing because I'm used to working with the public a little more. So So yeah.
That's excellent. What's your background?
Actually, I got a degree in English. You can get a job with an English degree.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. What about you? I mean, I still don't really know what you do. I was like, she's the C-Click Fix girl. I don't...
That's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, I work in. At first, I started in sales here. I just started about 4 months ago, but we're sort of creating a marketing department, um, and so I guess I'm a member of the marketing department, the very small marketing department team. But I mean, this is what's happening right here is sort of separate from, I think, necessarily my role, because I don't necessarily engage that much with citizen users, for example, but I love it and I think it's really exciting. And so this, I think Ben, who's our founder, looped me in because I really care about, for example, the city of New Haven. I really care about community organizing and that kind of stuff in my sort of personal life. I like doing community organizing stuff. So I think he probably looped me in here because I care about like this kind of like getting into the meat of a community.
This is marketing too, so I think
Exactly.
that's how it works.
Yeah, I guess I do more marketing sort of to governments as opposed to citizens. That would be the difference.
Well, I mean, if you get citizens on board, then it's going to be a lot easier to get governments on board with using the product. So.
No, you're totally nailing it. Totally nailing it. Hey, Suzanne.
Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Where'd you go?
Well, I really am having problems on this end because, for example, one of the links I got for the event took me to some place that had no relationship to the event. So then I started clicking on other things, and it really, there was a tremendous lag between hearing your voice and hearing my voice in reply. That really wasn't working. I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, so the link I sent around was the event page. So there are sort of three, I think, sort of entities that are involved in the Google Hangout, from what I can understand. So one is what's happening right here, which is the, I guess, like, what would it be? The individuals who will be speaking on the panel, right? So this is sort of like the hub. And then there's the event page, which is what we would invite people to in order to attend, and then also have access to the YouTube link. And that's the third entity, which is the YouTube link. So what I would say is that what we're on right now is sort of the generative portion, where we're talking and we're actually creating the content. And then the event page and the YouTube link are things that we send to people who then can view the content that we're creating on this hub. And so I think what was happening is that you both were engaging on this level as well as looking at the YouTube link, which it looks like there's a little bit of a lag time between what's being generated here and what people are actually seeing. So they're going to be seeing things about 3 seconds later, 5 seconds later. And so I think that was what was happening.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Roberto's going to be a little bit late, but I thought
we can just start without him if he
yeah.
get on time.
Sure. So, Suzanne, the reason why I said maybe you wanted to be the temporary moderator is because you seem to be sort of the guru of this operation and kind of have a very great and clear vision of the way. I mean, we all will of course contribute, but the way that you like to see this happen, the way that could potentially be the best for the citizen viewer. And so I have slides prepared. I think Sherry, do you have slides prepared, or just content or things to talk about?
Yeah, I have slides.
Excellent. So Suzanne, what would be your thoughts on the best way to sort of proceed to have a kind of run through of the content?
Okay, well, I think I was envisioning, honestly, in my mind, it was going to be more like a practice session where it was an emulation of the real thing.
Yeah.
So I would not be the moderator, I hope anyway, of the real thing.
The host.
Huh?
The host. Maybe it would be a better way to define it.
Gosh, you know, I'm hoping that somebody who is in what I call Generation Spark, that's people who are under the age of 40, will be the host of this thing, and that I will be a friendly attendee asking questions and peppering you with things that you'll you'll answer in response. Um, I don't feel like the guru. I feel like I do have an interest in seeing See-Click-Fix beautify neighborhoods that I've lived in. And so that's what sparked me to get going on this with Ben and Caroline. Um, if we were going to do a real run through, I hope that we would have identified a real moderator, and that we would then move on to the city and See-Click-Fix and a user. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Roberto told me that he was you or Roberto were reaching out to an experienced user who has made, some posts on See-Click-Fix, and they've been fixed, and he's got, or he or she has an idea of what it really can do. I was surprised. I went over to see Councilor Benton a couple weeks ago, and he's you probably met him. You know who he is, Councilor Benton. He's a nice guy, and an elected official representing the city. He said he thought he'd heard of See-Click-Fix, but he'd never been there, really didn't know what it did.
It's because most people are calling it ABQ 311. So that's
right. When I said 311, he still hadn't been there, doesn't have an account, couldn't tell you really what it did. And so later today, I'm going to go in and see Diane Gibson. She's a friend of mine. And we're going to go over the same thing. And I'm going to get a feel for, has she promoted it, knows what it does, logged in ever, that kind of thing. And if this continues, I'm kind of worried that the city councilors have some, maybe a little help might be get them up to speed. I think Ike said that he would like to attend a Google Hangout. I'm not sure if he has the technical skills to do it, but I do see that he didn't really have a sense for what 311 See-Click-Fix does.
Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't. And that's because since he works for the city, and a lot of city employees, they don't have a need to be calling 311 because they have access to all the information. Roberto just arrived. So they have access to all the information that they need. So they're not going to be calling 311. They're not going to know what it's about, what they would use it for. They just don't really access it, generally speaking. So that would be why the counselors wouldn't know what it is, really.
Sure. But in terms of promoting it with his constituents, he's obviously not prepared.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Roberto.
It's not, a subject matter that is, one counselor or one person is going to have to promote, because it's for everyone's good. If you're going to use 311, then you're going to, it doesn't matter, what counselor or district you're in, it's going to be useful for everyone in the city. Is that making sense?
Well, I think so. Although if I were a citizen going in to see Ike, and many do, and I wanted to tell him, for example, well, I'm really just, and in fact, when I was in Ray Garduno's district, there really were severe problems with the way the neighborhood looked, and people were complaining about it loudly at the neighborhood association meeting. So let's say I'm a constituent who goes into Ray, and I say, or Ike, or any of them, and I say, boy, I'm really unhappy with the way our neighborhood looks, why there's potholes and weeds and abandoned vehicles, and so what if the counselor doesn't even think to mention the 311 online thing? I think that we're missing a beat here. If we can give them the comfort level to say, oh, you could use C-Click Fix whenever you see a pothole or whatever it is. And I don't get, well, so far I don't get the feeling that they're quite at that point yet, although I think I know Diane well enough to know that after our talk, she'd be happy to start mentioning it as a solution for some of the problems that are coming right into her office. So.
Okay. So that's a good point, and this is the perfect sort of venue for anyone to be in on, so that they can learn how to use the application. So.
Hey Roberto, how are you?
How are you doing? Sorry I'm late. I came from another meeting.
Not a problem. I know you guys are busy. Hey, do you get off at all during the holidays?
We get a day off.
Well, happy holiday. So for the run through today, I was thinking I'm looking forward to hear what the city is going to say, and also C-Click Fix. Caroline, I wonder, you've got some slides, so when we get to that part, I presume you're going to manipulate the controls so we'll be able to see the slides. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just going to screen share.
Cool.
I'll do something.
Why don't we start with the city? I'd love to hear what you guys have cooked up about what you want to say on the Google Hangout about the 311 SCF partnership.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and do the screen share now and do. This is going to be interesting. Can you see it?
Yeah, excellent.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right. So, is it nice and big and taking up your whole screen now?
It is not. I think you might have to make the it in presentation mode.
It's in presentation mode for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not... Suzanne, do you see it still as like a small image?
Now, I just clicked on it, and now I'm seeing a large image.
Are you seeing the full screen or the presentation?
I'm seeing actually your whole screen.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder if I can click on any of that.
Let me try something a little different with the screen share because I set it to the window, but I think I should set it to the whole screen. Let me stop real quick. This is very interesting. All right, now you can. Oh my goodness!
Whoa!
Okay, now there, whole thing, right?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. All right, so Roberto is here for like support.
Yeah, no, for the most part, Charlie and I were talking earlier, and I'm just going to be here for question and answer. Charlie's going to take the lead on the presentation and on the city's behalf. So.
Yeah, and after this, we'll go over our thoughts with the user demonstration aspect of this. I think it would be really useful to have it a part of it, but we're not getting very many people who are really very interested in doing a demonstration for us. We have a couple of suggestions. But in the meantime, so we're going to go over a couple of different things about ABQ 311. We're going to talk about what it is, how to access it, how to use it, and why you should be using it. And that one's going to be the most important part. So first of all, the Citizen Contact Center and ABQ 311 are two entirely different things that end up doing the same thing. And they actually end up getting you the same result. So if you call 311, it goes into our CRM system, and that report or that request that you sent into the Citizen Contact Center gets sent to the department, and they fix your issue. Same thing happens with the mobile application, ABQ 311, goes into our CRM system, then it gets directed to the department, and they fix your issue. So it's just two separate ways to get the same thing done, and it's good for different reasons. Each one is perfect for certain sorts of things that you're trying to do. ABQ 311 is a self-service. You can create requests from literally anywhere. You can be in Panama and create a request for ABQ 311 if you suddenly thought of some sort of Albuquerque request that you had. You don't need to call the Citizen Contact Center, which is, of course, going to be the reason why people would want to use it. You can use it to report graffiti, litter, abandoned vehicles, dozens of things. You can do it in two ways, either on the web at ABQ 311. Let me show you that. So here is abq311.com. It looks exactly like, well, parts of it look quite a bit like the mobile application. Here is the mobile application. It's still loading up, so that's what's going on there. There is a demonstration. It's about 1.5 minutes long, but you can watch it at your leisure for how to use ABQ 311. Oh, you can do it, computer. You can do it. I might need to close some programs if I were to do this again. I guess it might take some time. Sorry, you guys. You're supposed to be seeing a black screen. I swear. It's all part of the show.
Well, it's just a practice.
Yeah. Well, I think... I don't like that it's doing this right now, though. This is an issue. Alright, maybe I should stop sharing. Okay. Maybe I should start sharing again. Oh, I closed the whole program. Sorry, you guys.
You're okay.
There it is. It's still there. It's just... well, my PowerPoint program is frozen.
Oh no.
Yeah, so this is, I guess, an issue that we may end up having to deal with if we were to do this.
Was the issue the transition from PowerPoint to then
Yeah,
the website, the page you're on?
yeah, so maybe I could just take a screenshot of the page
Yeah.
and the PowerPoint so I wouldn't have to go from one to the other to back.
I had the same issue. I was going to show a little video, and it wasn't working as well, and so I don't think you're alone on that.
Okay, well, that's good to know, but also sad to know.
Yeah.
And my Dropbox disconnected too. So
That's cool. Yeah.
It just exploded everything.
well, it's still connected, obviously, but my Dropbox is not connected.
Oh no.
And of course, like a foolish person would.
Do you have any way of closing out of the PowerPoint and then pulling back up?
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Okay.
But I saved it in my Dropbox because I have too many computers at my desk. By that I mean 2.
Well, how about in the meantime we could talk a little bit about the user.
I did just bring it back up, but
Oh, excellent. Let's keep going.
I know this must be your favorite thing ever to watch me dawdle around this. All right. Oh, there it goes again. Okay. All right. So we'll make sure to do that. So you can use it on the web, or you can use it as a mobile application. When you're downloading the ABQ 311 app, it's really easy to do. You just go into the App Store on your, I guess, iPhone. I should probably go into how to access it on an Android phone as well, huh?
I think we might also,
Yeah. I don't even know how to access it on an Android phone, so I'll make sure to do that. And then you can just download it directly from the App Store, sorry. What does that say?
That's a song.
Oh, okay. And then when you access the application, you are immediately given the option to log in. The first time you use it, at the bottom of the screen, you'll have the option to register a new login. And you'll want to do that as you see on the image to the left. Again, you can visit abq311.com to see a full demo on how to use the application, but we're going to have a demonstration. So a little bit about how to use it. First of all, you're going to want to use ABQ311 for service requests primarily. That's because things like graffiti, litter, abandoned vehicles, lost pets, you can take pictures of things, and you can, your phone can say where you are exactly, right? Yeah. So instead of saying an approximate address for where this graffiti is, they will know exactly where it is. So in that way, it can be a little more useful. You can also put in service requests through ABQ311 by, oh, I'm sorry, I said this wrong. Something to note is that service requests are longer calls. So when you call into the Citizen Contact Center, the service requests, things for graffiti, litter, things like that, they're much longer calls than, say, if you're getting information. So in that way, they're better for ABQ311. And then when the Citizen Contact Center is closed, like holidays and evenings, you can still be using the application. So in that way, it's another reason to use it. However, you don't want to use ABQ311 for non-city requests. And this goes for calling 311 as well as using the mobile application. That's because things like utilities, schools, and other government organizations, we can't handle those calls because we're the city. So we wouldn't be able to answer those questions. You can use you can call for things like graffiti, weed and litter, abandoned vehicles, a little more about just sort of what people are calling in about, or what people are using ABQ311 for now. And then something to note, again, is those non-city requests. It's a huge amount of calls and cases into ABQ311. Non-city requests actually make up 11% of the calls made to the Citizen Contact Center, and that's over a $300,000 cost. That's like hiring 5.5 people full-time at the city. So making sure to not to direct your calls to the right organization is going to be key in using your city tax dollars effectively. And here's a little bit about what sort of calls are made to the city and requests that come into ABQ311 that aren't city. So here we have a little bit of P&M, Metro Court, APS, you know, even down to things like CenturyLink that you'd be surprised people are calling us about. So again, I mean, really good way to effectively use tax dollars is to just make sure that calls and requests are being directed to the right places. Finally, why to use ABQ311? The costs are, well, it's a really decreased cost for you citizens. A call into the Citizen Contact Center is $2.48 per case. When you use ABQ311, even at the small percentage that we're currently using it, last year it was, or the last financial year, it was almost 10,000 cases. It's $1.25 per case. The cost doesn't increase because it's just a basic cost, so the more people use ABQ311 instead of calling 311, the better their money is spent. Finally, remember, ABQ311 and 311 can both be used for different reasons. ABQ311 is really great for service requests in particular. So you want to get something done, something picked up, something fixed, and it has to be a city thing, of course. So don't use 311 for non-city requests because we just really can't do anything with that. These are your tax dollars at work. We want you to help us use them wisely. All right, so that's the thing.
Excellent.
It's really long.
No, that was awesome.
5 minutes long. Okay. So one note to make, you guys, is I talked with our boss. We're going to need to make sure that, I mean, this is definitely draft mode, so we're going to need to like run this by some higher ups before we go live with that.
Sure.
And we were both wondering, where is it? Our boss didn't like it being called the Citizen Contact Center. He wanted it to be called 311. But I was a little worried that people would get confused about whether it's ABQ 311 or 311, what the difference is.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt like a good way to differentiate would just be to call it Contact Center. What do you think about that?
Sure. Suzanne, is your sound working?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Okay, great. What do you think, Suzanne?
I'm sorry, my brain is actually working, contrary to popular opinion. But I guess I do understand your boss's point, but I also think in terms of this Hangout, you're correct that people could be confused pretty easily. Is there a way of combining it? I thought you did, actually, so that it's a little more clear that you're talking, that there are two entities. There's the 311 phone entity and the online and mobile app entity. Is there any way to, how do you think you could distinguish between the two of them so people wouldn't get confused?
Well, right now I'm calling the mobile app and the web app ABQ 311, and I'm calling the phone center the Citizen Contact Center. Did it not translate?
That was clear to me.
Well, let's. Yeah, I think that distinction is a good one. I'm concerned about how it's going to come across in the Hangout. I mean, we've got not very many shots at the attendees, and I want to well, I'd be interested to know if they understand the distinction that we're making. And we'll have a chance to find out because we will have some attendees that we can ask. Do you understand that we're talking about the 311 call center and that it's different than the online mobile app?
Maybe add a quick introductory definition, like when I say Citizen Contact Center, I'm talking about the 311 call center. When I say ABQ 311, I'm talking about the mobile and web application, right?
Sure. And the phone app is where you're likely to be really talking to a person live. I mean, I'm not sure.
Definitely talking to a person live if you call on the phone.
Although sometimes I wonder. But in any case, it does seem as though maybe that would be a distinction that people would also easily grasp. You're talking on the phone, not using your keyboard or texting.
I think that's a good point. I think making it super basic, be like, this is where you use the phone, and this is where you use it on a computer or on an app. Just like making that incredible. And I think you did a good job of that. But even just really bringing it down to the basic, like just the methodology, almost not even messing with names that much, just almost like forgetting about the name of the phone one and really highlighting the name of the mobile app one.
Yeah.
Be really useful. And I think you basically did that.
That's why I didn't call it 311.
Yeah, exactly. You were like just the kind of generic citizen call thing. Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay.
So Caroline, well, actually, now I'm moving along here too quickly. Sherry, how did you feel? Did you feel comfortable giving it a whirl today?
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing, about the users, before I forget. So we did get one person who contacted us back, but he's kind of an aggressive personality. A pretty strong personality is what he has. So we weren't sure about having him try to demonstrate use of ABQ 311, the mobile application. We thought maybe you try for someone else. But something about, asking for feedback, I feel like it kind of inclines people to give negative feedback, which, in many other circumstances, we would be seeking what's wrong with it so we can fix it, but that's not what we're doing right here.
Yeah, one of the things that he mentioned was more about the city process. So, like after it's been reported, he was, saying it should be closed out and it should be closed out immediately. Stuff that the departments are doing. So it has nothing to do really with the mobile app. I mean, it's regardless of if you called it in or if you use the mobile app. That type of stuff.
So I was kind of thinking, what sort of issues do you see with possibly just having someone at the city demonstrate it? Like, why specifically do you want to have, Suzanne, do you want to have a citizen doing it? And I know that it's definitely outreach, it's a way to get citizens involved, but we do have some experts here at the city who would be able to demonstrate use of the application. What would you say to that?
Yeah, actually, we're on the same page on that. I was thinking as I was listening to you, gee, it would be helpful to see somebody actually going through the process, like this is what you do, here's what I did, or look, we found this pothole, and now we're going to demonstrate the system to show you how we report that, and maybe we could find one. Maybe not.
I'm sure we can do something.
I'm sure they've all been taken care of. So anyway, I like what you're suggesting. Caroline, what do you think of that?
Sure. I mean, I still think, Suzanne, that you'd be excellent for all of these things, but I mean, you're like the ideal, but I also completely understand your hesitation on that front. But I do think you'd be fantastic as the user. But I think also as long as it's articulated in a way that's clear, I think that's the primary priority, and then who's delivering that is a lesser priority.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, we don't have to actually make a final decision today. I understand what the trouble that you're running into. I also would be pretty reluctant to have somebody who was like a wild card. I mean, that could ruin the whole thing. So let's not toss that out, but keep thinking on it. And I mean, maybe somebody will emerge. I mean, I was trying to think of who I know who maybe has used it, who is more likely to just be, a regular person reporting what happened. And I haven't. I've now got some people who've actually know what the system is, but I haven't gotten anybody who actually has reported anything yet. So I'll keep looking. Maybe you guys can, keep that in mind too. Caroline, I'm eager to find out what you folks over there in New Haven have cooked up for us.
Sure.
Here in Albuquerque. What's going on with C-Click Fix people?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to screen share right now. What's up?
A quick comment. I was looking at one of those tutorials that you sent me, and the guy kept saying, "Remember, keep smiling." And so I'm just saying, yeah, because when the camera's on you, or when your little picture is down in the right-hand corner, if you're sitting there, picking your nose, or none of us have done that, but scratching your ear or whatever, it's distracting at the very least. So a positive smile while you're doing this is a good thing. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Oh, was I distracted? Probably at some point or something.
What I noticed was that you were I think, looking very pensive, like.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, remember when we do
sure.
them, you're on camera. People are actually watching us.
That's great feedback, Suzanne. I'll definitely make sure to keep these pearly whites going when it's the real thing.
Roberto has such a
Okay.
smile.
Oh,
I like.
Roberto blows us out of the water. His smile is the best. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the full thing? Oop. I gotta go back some slides.
It's not on presentation mode yet.
All right, let me check this out. Is it working now?
No, I think there's a pretty big lag though, so give me a sec.
Let's see.
What about you, Susan?
Fine.
Is it on presentation mode now?
No, not for us.
How did you put it on presentation mode? What were your steps?
So instead of choosing the option to just share one application, I chose the option to share the entire screen.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, I'll do that.
Because I guess when you go in presentation mode, it somehow doesn't show the presentation.
Okay, you're seeing that. And you see this?
Yes.
All good?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. So, okay, I'm going to give you guys just a short, broad, bird's eye overview of how SeeClickFix is being used nationally and globally outside of Albuquerque. So, currently, SeeClickFix is in over 220 municipalities, and I think what's particularly striking about the platform is how it is easily adjustable and flexes to many different kinds of organizational/governmental structures. For example, we're in population ranges from below 1,000 to over 2 million. And at the same time, we're of course in cities and towns, but we're also in some kinds of organizations that you might not expect, such as business improvement districts, Department of Transportation's, water districts, and we also work broadly as a state solution as well. So for example, SeeClickFix is currently working with the state of Massachusetts as the kind of anchor broad solution for the entire state, which is really cool. So we're currently in over 60 to 70 cities in Massachusetts. And I think this is particularly exciting because of the potential future of SeeClickFix, which feels in some ways very limitless. We could potentially be in schools, universities, anywhere where service requests can be managed by a back-end productive workflow system. So thinking a little bit about scale, this past month was really exciting for us here at SeeClickFix because we reached 1 million fixes. And this means that since SeeClickFix has started, over 1 million issues reported by citizens have been acknowledged, closed, and then fixed by this open partnership between citizens and their government. And building off of that, here at SeeClickFix, we're always very interested in completing feedback loops to sort of create and foster these channels for this kind of sustainable change in cities and communities. So we had 2 thank you campaigns after we reached this 1 million fixes. So here on the left side of the screen, you see a Twitter feed. We had essentially sort of a Twitter campaign where we emailed our over 500,000 users to ask them to tweet a thank you to their local governments. And we had hundreds of tweets. It was pretty inspiring to see how many people felt gratitude for both SeeClickFix, but mostly for their local government officials for addressing their issues and concerns. And now on the right side of the screen, you see our second campaign that sort of we wanted to juxtapose with this, the kind of sort of overwhelming gratitude that we received from the citizen users as a sort of reply from the governments. And so it's kind of still in the works, but essentially we're having our clients send in thank you videos to their residents. So this is Mayor Liz Lempert from Princeton saying just a quick 15-second thank you to the residents for their dedication to their communities. And I think the reason why I wanted to bring up these campaigns is because they show yet again this sort of powerful engagement that can occur when you create a channel like SeeClickFix for citizens and government officials to use, that they can both engage with each other on. So, now you guys might be wondering why. Why has SeeClickFix been effective? Why do both citizens and governments seem to find the platform valuable. And so I'm going to break it down just in 3 ways: communication, reduction of costs, and engagement. I know Sherry went into a little bit of the reduction of costs, so I'll just be building off of that. So first, communication. More and more governments are utilizing tools like SeekLookFix to communicate with their constituents. And actually there was this fascinating recent study that revealed that over $6.9 billion will be spent in 2015 on civic technology solutions similar to SeekLookFix. And so this study is sort of indicating that citizens are increasingly utilizing things like mobile applications, the internet, to communicate not only with each other, but as a communication channel with their governments. And it's exciting to see more and more governments, including Albuquerque, wanting to match their constituents there, wanting to see and engage with them on the level that they want to engage with. And I think it's also important to note on the communication point that these are all citizens that we're talking about, not just the ones you would expect, such as kind of the younger folks. For example, actually just this morning I was talking to Kent Wyatt, who's the founding director of this group called Emerging Local Government Leaders, which is sort of a network of local government folks. And he was discussing with us just about how governments more and more across the country are needing to change their communication patterns to engage with all different kinds of citizens, regardless of age, socioeconomic status, all the things that normally one would expect to either delay the sort of emergence into technology. So then the second kind of why for SeekLookFix is cost reduction. And this is a big one. SeekLookFix was designed to be a cost-effective solution. So actually this is where Albuquerque 311 comes in. Once Albuquerque 311 has received 6,000 reports, according to this one, according to a press release by Albuquerque, the program will have essentially paid for itself. And this is really fascinating, juxtaposed to the city of LA, which paid about $150,000 for a similar application, while Albuquerque paid much less, only about $13,000 to launch ABQ 311. And so it's interesting because SeekLookFix becomes cost-effective for many reasons, but especially because it was designed, as Sherry said, as a self-service solution, a platform where governments can essentially harness the power of their citizens to provide really important, valuable information on city infrastructure and services. For example, a great example is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The city was incurring crazy increased costs by not providing a tool like this for citizen self-service. And it was increasing staff time. It was crazy, and kind of building off the numbers that Sherry was giving. The IT director at Wilburn at Ann Arbor said that if a customer called in, for example, sent in an email, the kind of typical sort of older form of communication, communicating these service requests, it was upwards of $4 for every single service request. And when it's a self-service request, it's only a little over $2. And as Sherry said, it looks like in Albuquerque it's even less, only $1.25. So I think what's adding to this is we're having essentially citizens be able to send a lot of information to their governments, pictures on site with geolocation, which means cities are getting better and better pictures of what's really going on in their communities and in their cities and on their streets. Before, these avenues of getting that information was really limited because not everyone wants to pick up a phone to request something. Maybe they feel anxious about that, or it feels like a lot of time, or they want to send in a service request, but they're not immediately at their computer. They're on a bike, they go over a pothole, and they don't have any way of getting to their computer at home or to a library, or they don't own a computer because computers cost a lot of money. So now, when you can request with pictures, it really allows governments to get more information, better information, more quickly. And that reduces a lot of staff time because now governments can see the issue before actually going out on the field and looking at it. So then they can take the appropriate materials out with them to get the job done. And the last point I'll make is engagement. It's pretty neat because SeekLookFix really leads to some real engagement in communities between not only citizens and government, but also citizens and other citizens. And potholes and graffiti are only the tip of the iceberg. These kind of smaller, unassuming issues can really lead to citizens tackling some broader social issues that can be discussed and engaged with on SeekLookFix to really, as Suzanne said earlier, unify neighborhoods. a couple examples in New Haven, Connecticut, where SequelFix is based. SequelFix has been used as a forum to bring a dog park to an abandoned lot in the city, as well as a co-op food store in a neighborhood that was a food desert before. And so this is all to say that SequelFix is a platform for a number of different types of engagement, and this can be as simple as a service request that provides the government with far more information than they had before, to broader social issues in the neighborhood that people can finally have a forum to discuss them on. That's about it.
Sounded good.
I have two things to say.
Sure.
So I think that it's the marriage between our two presentations that we need will be, to make sure that everyone knows that ABQ 311 is SequelFix, and I can add that in mine, or you can add that in yours. But
I'll totally add that in mine. That's a great point. That's like powered by SequelFix.
Mm-hmm. And I like being able to see your facial expressions. I actually think that after the original, the Twitter slide that you have, we could just go back to your face and explain the stuff, because it's, it's not, I don't think that the slideshow is necessary at that point when you have points on it. So we could probably just go back to your face.
Sounds good to me.
I like it. I think it's useful.
Roberto or Suzanne, do you guys have any other thoughts?
One of the things in your presentation, not so much about your presentation, but I found that really interesting as far as tweeting folks out there to say thank you to the city, and how we're looking for somebody from the public. I mean, maybe we can get that person from you reaching out that way. Do you guys send tweets to the city of Albuquerque saying?
Maybe we could retweet it.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, dive into that more. So using Twitter to find these folks who would want to be a part of this? Is that?
Yeah, almost like you said in your presentation, send the city of Albuquerque a thank you for fixing your issue, and then from there we know which ones are, like the service, and then from there we can even take another poll from it. So.
That's a good point.
That's super
direct message to appropriate people.
I mean, have you noticed? Because I know there's a button on the platform, like once an issue is closed, for a citizen to thank Albuquerque. Do you guys have the ability to access that?
Okay, because if it is available, we do have tweets.
Which tweets?
Or any tweets.
Miguel and I do.
Oh, you do, guys. Okay, so I'm sorry.
I don't, but I haven't been paying good attention lately, so I need to pay attention now. I don't. Is that a feature that's?
Yeah, that's what. So correct me if I'm wrong, Caroline. When you're closing out the case, they have the ability to send a tweet to appreciate. That
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can check those tweets.
Yeah. Would it just be at SequelFix and at CABQ?
Yeah, let me check it out. There's this one guy who tweets.
Where you're at. Gotcha. So do we need to put that into our widget? Because I'm not sure if our ABQ 311 has that. Oh, in the email. It would come through the email once it's been fixed. So you get an email when it's been acknowledged, and then when it's fixed, you get another email. So I'm wondering if it's not.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't tweet at the at Albuquerque, for example. I wonder if that's something that could be changed. Because I'm just looking at tweets right now.
I've tweeted. I mean, I haven't tweeted from the smartphone, but I've tweeted from the PC app.
Does it go to at CABQ?
It actually tweets just to SequelFix.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
And so when I see the tweet that it suggests, I edit it, and at I add at what CABQ. Is that what it is? So it says thanks at CABQ and C-Click-Fix. And usually I also add something about the problem, like thanks City and C-Click-Fix for fixing the graffiti on Mountain and 11th. And well, the generic tweet that they put up is, it's just basically a thank you for fixing something, but I like to make it a little more specific in case anybody from ABQ says, "Oh yeah, I live."
Uh-oh.
Are we okay?
Your computer is being a little wonky, Suzanne.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it keeps like pausing and freezing just for a touch. Let's see.
Suzanne, did you have any other suggestions?
I like the suggestions that have come up so far, and I hope that we'll follow up on some of these things in between now and the next time we practice. I was thinking at the next time, I'd like to try to find a sample attendee. In other words, somebody who hasn't seen the Dog and Pony Show, but who would be willing to give us some more feedback, and who is hopefully not a quote aggressive and kind of person who's just going to launch off into a long something or other. Just to get a person.
Uh-oh. Oh no, I think we may end up losing Suzanne.
Yeah.
So should we follow up with another calendar invite for how long? Maybe next week, or how soon?
Whatever works for you guys works for me. Oh no, Suzanne.
You're frozen. Oh. Well, I want to have someone, I think she's right, that it would be the biggest benefit to this to have, how do you use it? What do you do with it? Because I'm sure there will be plenty of people who are older who won't know how to use it.
Yeah. That might be the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, like, you should use it, and everyone's saying, we don't know how.
Yeah.
So I'll keep sending out emails. If I don't receive a response, like a good, if I don't find someone by, I guess, the end of this week, then I think we should pursue someone else. I still think Suzanne would be perfect for it because she's a regular user, and
yeah.
I think I'd also be okay at it too because I've never used it before, but I never used it.
That would be great. Yeah. I mean, I would be. I don't think we necessarily. How about this? What if we, by the end of this week, if no user has responded, it would be awesome if you wanted to.
Yeah, either then be the presentation. I could even be that user. If you want.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that would work perfectly fine. Aw, she disappeared.
So send out a calendar invite for probably a week out, and then we can, practice, again and take next steps.
Sure. Awesome. And Roberto, would you be interested at all in being a moderator? I mean, it really would just be.
Sure. Yeah.
Just say like, "Hi, thanks for coming. Here's this person to talk."
I don't mind at all. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thanks.
I think Suzanne's kind of under the impression that there are a lot more responsibilities that come with it.
Right. Yeah. Well, cool. How about maybe you guys figure out a time that works best for you next week? I think I'm pretty available. So maybe send me and Suzanne a few times that work for you, and
That works.
from there.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome. Good to see you guys. Hey, I feel like we're making some headway. Look at us. We get slapping some slides on there. Good.
Yeah, I think it's really just going to be all about that demonstration, but I'm sure everyone will be interested in it at this point. They'll be like, I should be using that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good to see you guys, and I look forward to see you guys next week.
Sounds
Great.
good. Thank you.
Awesome. See ya.